hope that you will be able to see my screen
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Uh, so just to get the things moving, what usually we do is that the participation during the session is encouraged through the chat box because we have a limited time. So at the end, you will be having some question answers, hopefully if we have time. But during the session, if you have anything to share, any question, any comment, feel free to use the chat box. Just let me have a look. All right. I am getting direct messages, Dr. Valkin. It would be great if they are able to use the chat. If your university policy allows, then I'll be perfectly happy. But on the other hand, if they can send me direct messages, that is fine as well. So
Sure.
our today's topic, all right. So our today's topic is managing employee well-being in organizations. You know, this well-being topic has been with me for the last 4 years. I've been thinking about it each and every day, and the reason is because this is my PhD topic as well. I've recently finished my PhD, and I'm about to hopefully publish my research as well. So the area that I've been working on is the well-being, and this has been a really wonderful journey for me, and I wish that I'm able to translate the same passion and enthusiasm to you all as well, because our well-being should be our priority. I mean, regardless of where we are, what we are doing in our lives, whether we are professionals or just being normal human beings, our well-being should be our top-notch priority. So I'm going to talk about today that what is well-being, how organizations are making sure, how HR departments within the organizations are making sure that they are able to establish some practices regarding well-being so that the employees, they feel very productive, they feel mentally and physically happy, and there are other aspects of well-being as well that we will be discussing today. So what I do is that during my session, i I try to make it very less technical and more related to your personal experiences. I mean, uh, either if you are a student or if you are like a professional, or even if you are looking forward to become a professional, this session is going to help you, give you an insight regarding this topic from a personal perspective. So I would love to hear your comments and opinions during the session. Feel free to use the chat box and share whatever idea, opinion, or question comes to your mind. So let me start by asking you, how are you? I mean, whenever we meet on a daily basis, we greet each other, we say, hello, how are you? And most of the times we don't even care to listen what the other person has to say. The typical response is, I'm fine, I'm good, how are you? But what if one day somebody stops you and says, I'm not fine, I'm not okay, I'm not well? Uh, so then you would be truly understanding the true meaning of this question, that if you ask somebody, how are you? So I'm asking you that, how are you? So instead of giving me I mean, if you're feeling great, then it's good that you just tell me that you're great. But think about it in your mind, in your hearts, and ask yourself that, how actually are you? Are you mentally feeling all right, feeling really well? I really appreciate what Dr. Valkin said in the beginning. He said that the presenter is very happy and excited to start this session. Yeah, I am feeling really happy, very energized. I was really looking forward to this session, and I'll try my best to share whatever I have today. So if you ask me that how am I would say that I'm feeling pretty excited. I just had my lunch, so I'm like feeling filled up as well. Physically, I'm feeling at the top of my energy. Mentally, I'm feeling charged up. So I'm feeling good. My question to you is, how are you? You need to ask yourself this question every day. I mean, we do ask this to the people around us. It's a basic greeting gesture, but you need to ask yourself this question. The answer to this question is going to tell you that mentally and physically, what is the level of your well being? Because this is going to be the first part of your self awareness. I talk a lot about self awareness because knowing yourself is a lifelong journey. It's not something that you do in a short period of time. It is something that you will continue to do till the end of your days. I mean, I wish you all a very long and healthy life, but regardless of how the long the span of your life is, your body and mind is going to respond and tell you that how are you feeling. I mean, recently, I started, I'm like 43 years young. I'm not saying 43 years old, I'm 43 years young. And when I do my bicycling or whenever I do some physical activity, obviously I'm not like a teenager anymore. So there are some cramps. So there are, now my body is telling me something and I need to respond to it. This is a trigger, this is a symbol, this is a sign of my physical well being. Similarly, if I'm doing something, if I'm doing some academic work, if I'm doing something intellectually, something that involves my thinking, my thoughts, my head, my mind, and if my mind is responding, that is related to my mental well being. If you're not feeling productive at work, if you're doing something and you're doing it every day, but you're not feeling productive, you're not able to perform your really best, you think that there are many things missing around you, this means that your mental well-being is not on the spot. So today we are going to address this topic in two aspects. I'm going to give you some organizational perspectives that what the organizations do in order to make sure that the well-being of the employees stays intact, and what can you individually do, how can you keep a check on your well-being, uh, your physical, mental, social, and emotional well being to make sure that you live a high quality life, because that should be our topmost objective. All right. So, moving forward, I mean, this slide, it will give you a reminder that you need to ask yourself every day, how are you feeling? I mean, preferably in the start of the day when you are like brushing your teeth in front of the mirror, just see yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how are you, Mr. Umar? I mean, Mr. Umar is me, so I'll be asking myself, how are you, Mr. Umar? And you can ask yourself, how are you? All right. So let us define well-being. I mean, we've talked a lot about this word, but let us see what the definition is. It is the experience of health, happiness, and prosperity. All right. Thank you for sharing that you are fine. I'm not sure why this is on the screen, but thank you so much for sharing. So it includes having good mental health, high life satisfaction, a sense of meaning and purpose, and the ability, the tendency to manage stress. Quality of life comprises of these factors where you have high quality mental health. You're like pretty happy with what you are doing in your life. Your life is having a sense of purpose and meaning, and you are able to manage the daily stressors. I have talked about this thing in my earlier sessions that we did have a session on stress management recently. So the summary of that is that stress is going to be with you for as long as you live. All right. So there is no way that you can get rid of the stress. If you're living a normal life, if you're doing a job, if you have a family, if you're living in a tight economy, you are going to have face stress. The thing is that how you deal with it. It's not about eliminating stress from your life. It's about finding an approach, a strategy to deal with it in a way that your mental and physical health stays intact. All right. This is what well being is all about. Please do continue to share your opinions, questions, comments in the chat box. I would love to hear them. So, what do the organizations do? I mean, right away, let's jump into it. That what are the top organizations doing in order to make sure that the well being of their employees is intact? I'm trying to just remove this I'm fine thing, but I'll focus on my session and I'll ask Dr. Welkin to remove it. All right. So let's talk about Google. Now, Google is, I mean, one of the best companies, and its practices regarding employees, it's really top notch. So what do? They have a mindfulness and meditation program. I mean, mindfulness is a concept which I believe it should be taught in schools, colleges, in universities. I mean, we need to focus, right? We need to search within ourselves. We need to control, tame, understand our thought processes, how our mind is responding to certain triggers, how our body is responding to certain things, what is the level of our emotional intelligence, how can we use all these abilities to be more productive, become more productive, and be like achieve wonderful things in our lives. So Google sets these kind of programs for its employees. Then it has nap pods. I mean, who doesn't like napping? I like napping a lot. I mean, you know, and I believe that this power nap thing is something really wonderful. If you are having a tough routine and if you learn to take power naps, what power nap is like, if you can tell yourself, tell your mind, and tell your body to like sleep for 10, 15 minutes during your stressful time, these power naps, these rest breaks, they really energize you. And when you get up, you feel all right. In Japan, most of the organizations, they use the concept of power nap so that the employees, they recharge themselves during the day. I hope that you do find this concept interesting. And then they have, just like other companies, they have on-site fitness centers. Now Google is focusing on the physical health as well. So I mean, you do understand that whenever you go to do some kind of an exercise, uh, some kind of cardio, immediately your body and your mind, it's behaves in a very positive way. All right. They say that there is no such thing as a bad exercise session, because exercise sessions are always wonderful. All right. I mean, the worst case scenario is if a barbell hits your head only, then it can be bad for you. Otherwise, they are really wonderful. So another organization, Salesforce, a very leading organization when it comes to sales and softwares, they have a wellness reimbursement program. Employees receive reimbursements for wellness related expenses such as gym membership, fitness classes, and equipment. How wonderful is that? I mean, if I am to take a membership at my local swimming pool, or a riding club, or somewhere where it is related to my physical health, and my company is willing to pay for it, how wonderful is that? So the mental health days are also celebrated, where Salesforce offers additional paid days off for employees to focus on their mental health. I mean, this is wonderful. Uh, I wonder if I just write an application to my employer and I ask them that I need a break because of my mental health challenges, probably they would like be very alarmed, and they would be thinking that, oh, something like really bad is happening to our employee. He needs health help. But mental health issues are pretty normal. I mean, each and every one of us goes through it. So if you feel that you have been through this week with a very rigorous approach, with a very rigorous effort, and you need to take a break for next couple of days. So companies like Salesforce would understand that this is directly related to your well-being, and they would want to give you that break. Now, then there are mindful zones, designated areas for employees to practice mindfulness and meditation. Oh, that is something amazing, wonderful. You know, uh, for the last 6 months or so, I've been trying this exercise myself, and I encourage all of you to do it as well. I'm sure that you guys would already be knowing about it and doing it. It's basic breathing exercise. I mean, mindfulness is something really wonderful. Um, just like decluttering the space in your mind, just like helping it release all the thoughts which are not important and focusing on one thing at a time. Such a wonderful definition of mindfulness. uh, I start by doing basic breathing exercise, for like 5 or 10 minutes a day. I sit at a place, probably on my rooftop, where there are some plants around me, and there is no distraction, no television, no mobile phone, and I do deep breathing. When I'm doing deep breathing, it's not a kind of a yoga. It's like decluttering the space in my head, and it helps me to focus more. So I really suggest that you guys should also do. I mean, if you'd already do it, do share it with me. But this is something really wonderful that we can learn from Salesforce. Now, another example is of Unilever, a very big corporation. What they do is they have a lamp lighter program. What is that? It focuses on promoting physical, mental, and emotional well-being among employees. Um, Probably the lamp, lighter program, what they do is they have a lamp lighter program. What is that? It focuses on promoting physical, mental, and emotional well-being among employees. Probably the lamp, lighter program, what they do is they have a lamp lighter program. What is that? It focuses on promoting physical, mental, and emotional well-being among employees. is related to the bright light, which is making their lives better. It also offers mindfulness training and it focuses on their healthy eating as well. I mean, uh, in our university, I think I should be suggesting it that for the well-being of our students, we should not be offering junk food. This is something that I just learned and I would be pursuing it, that we should be focusing on offering them food which is good for their health. And by health, I mean their mental and physical health. So these were the three examples that I wanted to share with you, which gives you an idea that what the leading organizations in the world are doing regarding the well-being practices. Just allow me to go through the chat box quickly. The last session was full of laughter. Looking forward to more laughter today. Oh, yeah, it's really wonderful that you were there. I remember Dr. Valkin really laughing. Oh, I do remember. I just went through that YouTube video a couple of times just to hear you laugh. It was so wonderful, so wonderful. We'll do that at the end of the session today. Don't worry. Or if we find an opportunity during it, don't worry. Okay. So moving forward, so what does well-being basically come from? I mean, we've talked about that it is very important, very critical, but let us see that how we can actually plant the seeds of well-being in our lives, what we need to do. It firstly comes from our thoughts, actions, and experiences. I mean, we cannot control our experiences, all right? But we can control our thoughts and our actions. It's a very basic understanding of living life. Attitude is defined as your response towards how the things are happening around you. I mean, how you respond to them basically determines that who you are. Tough times, sometimes they just damp some people, they just like damage some people in a way that they are never not able to get back again. On the other hand, some resilient people, when they go through tough time, they become better. So it's basically how we respond to the experiences around it. But the thing is, we cannot control the experiences, but we can control our thoughts and our actions. My opinion, my simplified opinion to all of you would be keep your well-being your priority. I mean, the first and foremost thought that should be in your mind is that my physical and my mental well-being is my priority. When you have this thing clearly listed in your head, all your actions are going to tailor around it. Now, it won't affect your work because you know that from your work, you get paid, and from that payment, you run your family. So it doesn't mean that you dislike your work. You start liking your work, and your approach towards your work becomes even better. All right. So your thoughts, what you plant in your head, think about. I mean, I just want to do a quick exercise with all of you. If you want, you can close your eyes because, I mean, looking at the screen for a long period of time is not good for you. All right. So just think of a happy moment in your life, the happiest moment. Just think about it, the happiest moment. All right. Wonderful. So think about the moments or experiences that excite you the most. Think about the joyful periods. All right. All these positive emotions and all those memories, they will combine to become a pattern in your mind on the pattern that you would want to follow for the rest of your life. Now, these thoughts are originated by recalling, remembering your triggers, your buttons. Each and every one of us has different triggers. All right. But in order to make sure that your thoughts are aligned to the goal of achieving well-being, you need to make sure that the path that you are following has examples from your good experience from your past, the joyful experiences, the happy experiences, the exciting experiences. A very common thing that I share with my trainees, I would say, or my students, I would say, is that you need to have I mean, you need to have this need to be praised, to be appreciated at work. One thing that I expect from my students is that whenever they are sitting in a class, I tell them that you have to build this need in you, that you need appreciation from your class fellows, from your teachers. I'm not talking about the acceptance that we desire on social media. I'm talking about the need to feel proud of something that you do, that people acknowledge, that your teachers, your bosses acknowledge. And by that pride, you get some positive energy. That positive energy will lead you towards your mental well being because you have that need. You have associated your mind with this process that your need to get encouraged, to feel appreciated, will lead you towards feeling happy or feeling excited. So you would want to do things which will earn you appreciation, which, and now you know that when you are earning appreciation, it is going to lead you towards feeling excited, towards feeling happy, and that happiness leads to your mental well-being. So I'm trying to make a connection in your mind. People who just do not experience things, who do not uh, focus on the need to grow, the need to get appreciation. Obviously, with the passage of time, feelings like jealousy, envy, hatred, these negativity, these things are going to dominate. So make up your mind. What do you want to think? What do you want to do? And what do you want to experience? All right. So this well-being concept is going to be revolving around you and what you are doing in your life. So I hope that I was able to give you some idea regarding what you need to do. So let us talk about the types of well-being. One of the types is I'm fine, written in blue on the screen. No. Okay. One of them is emotional well-being. We are going to talk about it today. Physical well-being, social well-being, and workplace well-being. I'm going to give you some quick tips because we have already able to establish an overview that what well-being is and what the organizations are doing in order to achieve that. So these four elements are going to give you an idea that what you need to do in order to improve in your life. My next question to my dears, all of you is, are you happy? Just ask yourself this thing. And yes, you can use the chat box to respond to me. And I'll take a quick break to eat my biscuit right live. I'm sorry for this in front of you, but okay. Are you happy? I mean, this question is not like you're not telling me that how you feel. Ask yourself with your job, with your life, with your mental and physical health, with your loved ones, with everything around you. Are you happy? Asking this question frequently is going to keep a check on your emotional well-being. Now, by happy, we do not assume that we are laughing. We assume that we are satisfied. We are content. We are having a high quality of life. We are dealing with our life stressors in a way that makes us satisfied and happy. Okay. You know, in organization, I saw a very interesting graphic and I wanted to share with all of you. Now, there are some skills which are called happiness skills as well. You know, all my training sessions over the time, I guess it's 20, 20th session maybe. I'm not sure, it's 18th or 19th session with AIU. So all these sessions largely revolve around self-development. This is my core area. Now, I was so amazed to see this graphic, this image, because it shows that there is a correlation between skills and happiness. In a professional environment, you can't be just like, it's not possible that you don't have any skill and you're very happy because your happiness is going to be related with your productivity. If you are like very productive at your work, And by being productive means that you are achieving all the goals, you are getting the appreciation, you are moving in a positive way in your career track, you are getting things done. Only then it will mean that you have the desired skill set and you are happy. So there is a correlation between skills and happiness. It's a very interesting chart. Let's start with kindness, right at the right. Kindness is one scale, but it is like a bit related to happiness, life purpose. You need to ask yourself that are you practicing or not? All right. I'm not going to go into the details of this because these are pretty obvious skills that all of us have. But you need to ask yourself that are you consciously thinking about them? Are you practicing them? Have you learned anything about them? Having a purposeful life, having a focus of personal development, with the as we move from right to left, the bars they are like rising because the value of the skills which create happiness will be rising. The correlation will be rising. If you are self-aware, it's like zero point 0.4, like 40% correlated with your happiness. If you are emotionally resilient, like it's not happening that small things tend to upset you, or like you're not emotionally vulnerable, you are in charge, in control of your emotions. If you are emotionally resilient, I mean, even if you face some setback or some issues, you're able to like respond well to them. That is a very top skill and it correlates with your happiness. Similarly, if you have work-life balance, something very interesting that there is work and there is life. Today is Monday, and over the weekend there is something going on in our office that we have a WhatsApp group and people were talking on it. So I muted that group for the weekend. On that weekend, I just muted that group. One of my colleagues, he just came to me today and he said that, were you able to see what I sent in the group yesterday, some official work? You know what I said? I said on my weekends, I do not prefer to think about or talk about or do any official work because I'm trying to have a work-life balance. But now on Monday, you can show me what it is and I'll give you my professional response. This work-life balance is something very critical and it correlates with your happiness. Then there is a healthy relationships at work. Over the time, the sessions that I've conducted, people they do talk about this issue in their working environment. If you are facing such issue, you can share as well. They say that people are not very supportive. There is organizational politics and people are leg pullers and things like that. But I believe that if the organization can genuinely invest on cultivating healthy relationships among the employees through maybe having some informal gatherings, through celebrating birthdays, maybe through encouraging healthy competition, through having some get-togethers. In this way, people will tend to know each other apart from their professional setting and they will develop a healthy relationship because that correlates with happiness, with the uh, well-being of the employee. Positive thinking is one of the biggest correlators. One of the biggest skill is a skill. It's a lifestyle. It's an approach. It's a skill that we need to learn. Think positive in all scenarios, no, regardless. I mean, this is one of the key things that I would want all of us to follow, that including myself. No matter what is happening, always think positive because that will make you happy. And that happiness, by happiness, I mean well-being. Your plan of happiness, like what is your happiness mantra? As an individual, you need to know that what is your life's priority, what is the purpose of your life, what is your goal, objective, dream, and how you develop the whole web of happiness for you. Like for some people, it would be surrounded by health, maybe. Like their health is their top priority, and they like develop their whole happiness plan accordingly. For some people, it may be their family. For some, it may be their work, their passion. Depends on you. But the most important happiness skill is self-confidence. Always believe in yourself. Never doubt yourself. I believe, it's my very clear belief that all the successful people in this world, think about uh, anyone who you think is successful. The difference between them and us is the ability to be confident and to grab on that opportunity and to pursue and to follow their passion and dream and not to get carried away. The self confidence is the biggest contributor towards your well being. I hope that you did find this chart, my elaboration of it, very helpful for all of you, because now this gives you an idea that you need to go through all my previous sessions on YouTube, on the university's channel, because you will find that I've talked about these things in individual sessions. Okay. So positivity, emotional intelligence, and coping with stress will lead you towards your emotional well-being, which is like the first thing. Let us talk quickly about physical well-being. Health is wealth, no doubt about it. What you eat, you say, people say that you are what you eat. I'm sure that by now you must be aware of all, because medical science is talking about it, people are talking about it, everybody knows that colas are not good for health, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it's not good for health. Or does anyone disagree? Would anyone want to share a disagreement that they are really good for health? We all know, because it's the time of internet and everybody knows that uh, the companies are turning to healthier options in terms of foods. Even junk food is being converted. The junk food suppliers are giving options where you can choose to buy healthy food, because everybody knows that the food has a huge impact on our life. Be very mindful, be very cautious about the type of food that you are intaking on a daily basis. Everything has its benefits. We all have, I mean, limited pockets, I understand. I mean, if given an option, we would want to pick and choose each and everything that we want to have. But in your daily schedule, be very cautious of this thing, because the type of food that we intake is going to directly affect not only our diet or the way we look, it's going to impact our mood as well. A quick quiz question for you all, including Dr. Valkin. Which is a mood booster food? Which is considered as a mood booster food? Like the type of food that you eat and you feel good. I mean, not good in a sense that like you're very good. I mean, immediately you feel good. Any example of a mood booster food? You can use the chat box, or Dr. Valkin, obviously you can speak and share. Do you have any example of a mood booster food? Can you think of any example? I believe I'm waiting for you to guys to respond in the chat box. Dates, yeah, that's a wonderful, yeah. Very high in energy, high calorie, high energy. I mean, gets you going. We as Muslims, we do our fasts, uh, and you probably would be aware of it, because in our fast we cannot eat or drink anything for like 10, 12, 14 hours, depending upon where we are. So it is recommended to us that we break our fast by eating a date. It is so full of energy, so powerful, and oh, I agree that it boosts your ice creams. Dr. Valkin, really wonderful, Oh, really, it's a mood booster, because the kind of heat that we are in right now, I am in right now, I would love to have an ice cream right now. True, true. Chocolates, ice creams, they work as mood boosters as well. Bananas, fruit, because it's not a rocket science, it's basic chemistry. Because The kind of nutrients that you are putting in your body is supposed to respond to them in a certain way. All right. So be very cautious of the type of food that you are having. Uh, Vegetables. Okay. What kind of vegetables? You know, I really want to like vegetables, but my doctors advise me not to eat healthy. you, my doctors say in order to be happy, in order to be happy, you can't eat healthy because that won't make you happy. All right. So, I mean, physical activity, how many of you spend a dedicated hour a day towards exercise? This is another quick question for all of you. How many of you, and what kind of exercise do you do? If you're using the chat box, can you please share that what type of physical activity do you do on a regular basis? I do mountain biking. I mean, not on the mountains, but generally while commuting to my university and going back, I do walk because our campus is really wonderful. Our university campus, it is like a big space, and I like walking there. So these are the two things that I do regularly. Uh, this is my top physical activity, and I would love to hear any examples. So we are still on vegetables. All right, vegetables make me feel lighted and fulfilled. Okay, Cordelia, thank you so much. The type of exercise activity that makes you feel physically active, and if you're not doing it, you have to make a promise, yeah, that you will be doing it. Okay, let us see what is in the chat box. Walking, agreed. I like walking. I like bicycling. I really like it. Okay, good. And carry on. I see that I need to hear some responses before I proceed. You can use the chat box. You can send me a chat. I'll read it out for everyone very quickly. No worries. Uh, Raising hand is a very good exercise right now. But we will be having the questions at the end of the session, hopefully. So, all right, wonderful. Be very cautious of your sleep patterns as well. You know, I want to follow this regardless of what is happening in my life. I would want to have at least 8 hours sleep because I know that is critically important to my physical well-being. Okay, so we are done with the physical well-being. Now let us talk about the social well-being. I mean, considering that we are all social, writing, running, rebounding, Dalia, rebounding. What is rebounding? Is it a kind of a sport or a game? Do share with me what is rebounding. All right, social well-being. So ask yourself, do I schedule time with family and friends? Do you have enough time to spend with your loved ones? Are you doing it on a regular basis? Do you enjoy spending the time with other people? I mean, it's all right to be alone at times, but it's better to be in a company of people where they support you, encourage you, they make you be a better person because we are all social animals. All right. Do understand that uh, being an introvert is fine, but having the ability to be socially active is very important. So do I interact with a diverse range of people from, do you like interacting from people of other cultures or backgrounds or people whose beliefs differ from yours? A very interesting question because, we tend to hang around more with people who are just like us. So what if the people have a different mindset? What if they come from a different background? So how comfortable or how convenient would you find that interaction to be? It's a part of your social well-being because we are a part of community and not everybody is going to be like us. People are different. Are your relationships positive? Ask yourself, That are your relationships contributing positively towards your life? Are they making you happy? Are your friends making you feel really good about yourself? Are they encouragers? Do they talk about positive things? Having an interaction with them, does it give you positive vibes? Same about your family, your siblings, your spouse, your kids. Same about your professional, social environment. What do you feel? Because that is contributing towards your overall well-being. Do need to remind yourself that social well-being is an important aspect of your overall well-being. How can you improve your social health? Few quick tips. If you're doing it already, it's wonderful, but it's always good to learn. Firstly, be approachable. Have a personality that people, they reach out to you, they talk to you. They are, they don't find it difficult to reach out to you. Your body language is not like repelling people. It's encouraging them to come to you. You like meeting people. If they are not reaching out to you, you take the first initiative and reach out to them. And once you establish a relationship, nurture that relationship. I mean, it's okay to get along with the people, but relationships, they require a certain kind of a give and take system. So follow that system and invest on them, nurture them. Only then you will be. It's like pretty simple. It's like having a fruit plant in your house. You need to take care of it before you actually get the fruits. Try out new things with new people. I mean, if you have an opportunity, you know, I find myself very lucky because I'm a university teacher. So every 6 months I interact with new students. I mean, the students who are new to me. So we do plan certain activities and things, and I tend to learn new things with them as well. So I find myself very lucky. I mean, not all jobs are like this, but you can actually have some kind of uh, activity in your social clubs, maybe. You can make friends at your gym or your exercise activity or at your work, even. And I mean, at the end, stop judging or blaming people because nobody likes it. People, they want the basic social intelligence rule is that you need to be an encourager. You can't be a critic all the time. Nobody likes a critic. Nobody likes a person who is always judgmental about what the other person is doing or thinking or acting like. Uh, be okay with the uniqueness and individuality of everyone. Be okay with that. All right. I think that requires some learning and some practice, but I think this makes you socially so attractive when you encourage people for who they are, for what they believe in, for their persona, for their personality, for their thinking patterns, for the way they want to spend their lives. That is the top trait of having the social ability because social well-being, it does contribute towards your overall well-being. Now, an interesting infographic regarding the workplace well-being, which is like we are moving towards the conclusion of our topic. We did talk about emotional well-being, physical well-being, social well-being, and now workplace well-being. You know, a third of workers would consider leaving their job due to poor workplace well-being practices. Now, in a working environment, what I want you to do is think about all the things that we have talked about in the last 40-45 minutes and try to make a connection in your mind that how these things can be implemented within a workplace. If you are a manager, if you are a boss, how would you be using these practices within a workplace? How would you make sure that the emotional health of your employees is top notch? How will you make sure that the physical health is there? How would you make sure that their social well-being is top notch? What practices would you follow? I would love to hear your opinions and comments in the chat box. Let us quickly go through the infographic, and let me quickly allow the people who are waiting in the waiting room. It's not good to wait. Okay. Uh, what employees would do if they experience poor workplace well-being? 30% will consider leaving their job. It's so important. Uh, some percent would be less motivated to work, and the rest of them would be thinking to leave the organization. So the business impact of well-being on organizations is very high, because if the well-being practices are not there, the people will eventually leave. Okay. So when employees feel that they are being cared for, their performance increases. Now, care is a wonderful word related to well-being. The organizations should be caring towards their employees. When you are caring to somebody, you take care of their needs, you focus on their growth, you think about all the things that can make them happy, and you try to eliminate all the things which are causing any kind of disturbance. So the good organizations who focus on well-being would want to shift their focus on that. So how can you improve workplace well-being? As an individual, if you are working, my tips and advice to you would be that always find work or do work which serves your purpose of life. And if it is not serving the purpose of your life, and if you're not able to find any other opportunity, then make it your purpose of life. All right? Because your time is valuable and it's running out. So you need to make sure that you make full use of that time and find purpose. In this image, if you see that one person is mindful, meditating, and the rest of them are in a panic mode. Now, if you are an accountant, if you are a teacher, if you are working in a retail store, even whatever you are doing, if you find that to be a purpose of your life, your approach towards it, your happiness factor towards it will totally shift. This is what you need to do. Okay. And the next part is regarding work-life balance. I mean, just need to understand one thing, that work is work and life is life. So simple. I mean, we all work for money. Uh, it doesn't mean that you don't work with commitment or passion, and you just like are waiting for your salary to come and just like dodging the workplace all the time. No, it means that work is one part of your life. It's not everything. Okay. So do that part, earn your money, and then you have other parts, that those other parts include your family. I think family is a wonderful thing, is the most important thing. The next part is your health, both physical and mental health. And then there are your obligations towards your community, towards your country, towards other fellow beings, your social responsibilities, and so on. So all these things, they need to be in their own boxes. You can't just like mix up everything. I mean, work is not everything. Then obviously, I mean, one thing cannot dominate over the thing. There needs to be a check and balance. So guys, I hope that you did find this session relevant, interesting, and informative for all of you. It was about how, what is well-being, what organizations do in order to ensure well-being, and what can we do in order to keep a check on our four aspects of our well-being: emotional, physical, social, and